What's going on, y'all? Straight to the point, sports and entertainment. Now, let me go ahead and get right to it, all right? I'm going to put this link to this article in the description so y'all can take a look at it, though. But former NBA superstar KG, one of my personal favorites, made a comparison that I think that a lot of people had already been saying in the beginning. Now, this comparison is nothing new, but there were some people that actually said that he actually looked like this person from a physical standpoint, like the way that he looks. But as far as his play was concerned, there were some questions in the beginning. However, I have begun to say that I think as of last year, I started to make that comparison. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's Anthony Edwards comparing him to Michael Jordan. And that's what Kevin Garnett had pretty much has stated, that he reminded him of a 1984 young Jordan. Okay. Now, I've been on record to say this, especially when I was talking about Anthony Edwards in a previous video. I said that Anthony Edwards reminded me of Michael and as well as Kobe Bean Bryant, okay, the late great Mamba. Now, the reason why I made that comparison was because Anthony Edwards has some things in his games to where they were very similar to what Michael Jordan and Kobe used to do, but particularly Michael when he was younger. The first thing that I noticed about Anthony Edwards is his first step. Okay, now he was a little out of control when he had first came to the league. I had already stated that. He had a real spotty jumper, just like Michael Jordan. His jumper was not consistent at all when he first got to the league. He wasn't the greatest shooter. He was getting buckets like in the interior, and he'll hit that jumper, every now and again. But it took some time for him to consistently get that master of the mid range down. And Anthony Edwards has made that progression in his game. He has a nice pull up, and it kind of reminds you of a Kobe, of a Jordan, in the sense that when he rises on the shot, it's because that's what Kobe and Jordan used to do. They used to rise on their shot, and then they had good form. Anthony Edwards does have a pretty decent form on the shot, and that's not to say that he can, end up getting better, but he still, at this stage of the game, he does have that good shot. And also, I think what gets forgotten about Anthony Edwards is the tenacious defender that he is. And as I've explained before, Michael Jordan was a tenacious defender too. Now, I wouldn't say that he's on Jordan's level in terms of a one-on-one defender, because of course we're talking about a different time, different era when defense, you weren't just seen as a quote-unquote two-way player. It was just like you just had to play defense no matter what. That's what was expected of you. But I will say this, though. He does play the passing lane pretty good, because Anthony Edwards has good breakaway game. And what I mean is, out in the open floor, he loved to do that because he is highly athletic. That's one of the things that when he came in, we already knew that he could rise you. I mean, he was damn near, he had the dunk of the year, his rookie year. Okay, I just in my opinion, and that's when I forget, he came up baseline and just threw it down nasty over somebody. I think it was Lopez. I forgot who it was, but it was nasty. Okay, it was nasty, and his athleticism is off the charts. But see, this is the thing. I want to talk about Zach LaVine for just a second. Okay, see, Zach LaVine was being compared to Kobe Bryant. Believe it or not, there were some people that said that Zach LaVine reminded them of Kobe Bryant. I was like, nah, I don't see it or whatnot. And it wasn't quite. It didn't necessarily have to do with his game per se, but it more so had to do with his athleticism. Well, the thing with Zach LaVine, it took him time to kind of get a hold of his athleticism and mold that into him being a better shooter and working on other parts of his game. He was just raw athleticism and stuff, and it took him some time. Well, with Anthony Edwards, he's starting to work on other parts of his game in the short tenure that he's been here, and on top of that, it's beneficial for his team in the Minnesota Timberwolves, because the Minnesota Timberwolves is top 2, top 3 teams in the league right now. It's interchangeable because now that OKC is first. Yesterday it was the Clippers, and then before that, then it was the Nuggets. So they've all been interchanging that top 4 teams. But anyways, Anthony Edwards has that breakaway game, and he likes to utilize his athleticism on the break, and out in the open floor he's dangerous, and that's where he thrives at. Well, Michael Jordan, he used to love that out in the open floor. He would thrive, and once he gets a couple of steps inside the 3-point line, you might as well forget it. And I'm talking about a young version of Michael Jordan. Everybody thinks that Michael Jordan played the same exact way throughout his whole entire career, and that's just not true. To me, Kobe played like the older version of Michael Jordan, but mixed with his own athleticism, because he didn't start doing that fadeaway until it was a little bit. He did it here every now and again when in the first three-peat, but then in the second three-peat you saw it more because he was more ground bound. But yeah, I don't mind the comparison. In the beginning, I'm not gonna lie to you, I was like, nah, and everybody was like, yeah, you look like him, but your game doesn't look like him. Well, I started to look at that more, and at first I was giving him more Kobe more than anything, because everybody's gonna try to find somebody and a parent to somebody. I'm pretty sure when a lot of these guys that retire right now, they're gonna try to be like, well, this guy reminds them. Just kind of like, it's typical. They're trying to find somebody, to compare them to. But right now, that's an accurate comparison by KG, because he, believe it or not, a lot of people don't understand this either. KG took a little bit from Jordan, because if you look at Kevin Garnett's game, you'll see that he would do the little fadeaway, the little shake, and then turn around fade. Well, Jordan used to do the same thing. And we also got to understand that Jordan, he was in Chicago, and so was KG. He played in Chicago a lot. So naturally, you're gonna look at Jordan and try to pick up some things. But everybody picked up some things from Jordan. Everybody wants to sit up here and act like they never studied Jordan. That's just like when some guys, they sit up here and they say, oh yeah, well, such and such was my favorite player. Everybody took something, a little something from the great Mike, and that's nothing to be ashamed about, and way back when, everybody used to down Kobe because he patterned his game after Mike. But if you can do it, this is what I've always said about that. If you can try to be like the best, who you think is the best player, or who you think is like the greatest of all time, and you work heavily to the point where it's so similar that people are saying that y'all play just alike, then why not use it? Now, way back when, I didn't see it like that. I was like, and that's why, like, in the beginning, I was like, man, who does Kobe, think he is, and stuff like that. I used to say stuff like that, but then I began to appreciate it, and that was when he was young, before he started doing all the fadeaway stuff and all that other stuff. I'm talking about when he was doing the raw athleticism and stuff, and you saw some similarities to Jordan, and even Jerry West was making some comparisons too, even back then. But besides that, man, Anthony Edwards, he definitely has a lot of similarities. Now, will he hold up to be able to play a long, beneficial career like Michael Jordan or even Kobe Bryant in some people's eyes? That remains yet to be seen. So y'all let me know what you think. Leave your comments. Make sure you like the video, share it, subscribe. Also hit them notifications too. Until then, it's straight to the point. Sports and entertainment. I'll get at you later.